In this video, we're going over the new top 5 meta SMG class setups here in Black Ops 6 Season 1. For class setup number 1, we're taking a look at the good old C9. Definitely one of the best SMGs here in Black Ops 6 Season 1. We're not running an optic, but we are starting off with a muzzle, and the suppressor is going to be the way to go to take yourself off the radar when firing. Now for the barrel, I highly recommend running the long barrel on the C9, giving it the fastest TTK with that improved damage range. Now for the underbarrel, in order to mitigate as much recoil as possible, we are going to rock the vertical foregrip to improve that horizontal recoil control. Now for the magazine, you do have two choices here. You can either rock extended mag 1 to bump up the capacity to 40. It's not going to go ahead and slow down your handling at those close ranges, but if you don't mind having a slower ADS or sprint to fire speed, extended mag 2 is also a good choice as well. I will show both versions in the firing range. Now for the rear grip, I highly recommend going ahead and putting on the CQB grip. This is a great attachment on the submachine guns, improving that sprint to fire speed, slide to fire speed, and dive to fire speed. Everything we need to go ahead and dominate at those close ranges, we have locked in with this attachment. Now for this stock, we are gonna technically remove it with the no stock, bumping up the movement and overall handling at close range. A great attachment to have. We're not running any lasers. These give away precision, which you do not want to have happen. And then finally, for the fire mod, we are going to be rocking recoil springs to smooth out that recoil pattern, bumping up horizontal as well as vertical recoil control. This is going to be a 7 attachment class setup. I will go ahead and showcase a 5 attachment class as well. As you guys can see here, fast sprint to fire speed, ADS, and overall a very, very controllable C9 setup when you are rocking the 40 round magazine. I'm going to showcase what this weapon can do with the 50 round mag. You are going to see that it is going to have a slower sprint to fire speed and ADS, but it isn't terrible. So definitely go ahead and choose what magazine is going to fit your playstyle. If you're running gun more, you might like the 50, but if you're just kind of taking out target to target to target, the 40 could be a better option. Now, if you want to go ahead and rock this weapon with just the 5 attachment build, I know a lot of people like to do that. We are going to remove the recoil springs. We are going to remove the no stock, and we're simply going to have a class setup that just has the suppressor, long barrel, vertical foregrip, extended mag, as well as the CQB grip. You guys can see here, this is still going to be a solid class setup, but with a lot of the submachine guns here in Black Ops 6, I do enjoy running a fully loaded setup. For class setup number 2, we are going over the new SMG, the SAUG. Overall, a great run and gun weapon. Now, we're not going to run an optic. The iron sights are great here, but we are going to run a muzzle. You have two choices depending on your playstyle. You could rock the suppressor, keeping you off the radar, or the compensator to bump up that vertical recoil control. I will showcase both versions in the firing range. Now for the barrel on the SAUG, I do enjoy putting on the long barrel so we can get the fastest time to kill at those medium to longer ranges. For the underbarrel, we must rock the vertical foregrip, especially if you're not running the compensator to bump up that horizontal recoil. Now for the magazine, because this weapon does have a relatively large ammo capacity, the flip mag is going to be a great choice, speeding up the reload. We already have 36 rounds. This is overall going to be the best attachment. Now for the rear grip, we are still going to rock the CQB grip to help us out at those close ranges with that sprint to fire speed primarily. We are going to run a stock on the submachine gun, and I do enjoy putting on the combat stock to bump up both flinch resistance and aim walking movement speed. Overall, a great attachment on the SAUG. We're not running the lasers because these give away your position. And then finally, for the fire mods, we absolutely must run recoil springs because this weapon does have a lot of recoil. This is going to be helping us with that horizontal and vertical recoil control. A 7 attachment class that you guys cannot go wrong with. This is going to be this build when you are rocking the suppressor. You guys can see here, it is going to be controllable. So definitely go ahead and give this a try if you want to be off the mini map. We have a respectable ADS, sprint out, as well as the aim walking speed is quite nice with this as well. But let's say you don't care about being suppressed and you want to focus on recoil control, the compensator is going to be a good option. But remember, you are going to be on the map when firing. You guys can see here, this is overall going to be a great build because the recoil is going to be significantly reduced. you can essentially go ahead and go full auto at medium ranges, no problem. Now, if you did not want to go ahead and rock a fully decked out class, we are going to remove the flip mag. The reason we're going to do this is because we do not need to go ahead and have it when we're only running the 5 attachment setup. And we are also going to go ahead and remove the combat stock. We need to have as much recoil control as possible when running the SAUG, and I am going to be recommending running the loud and proud build when you are going ahead and using it with the 5 attachment setup. You guys can see here it is going to be quite accurate, but at the same time, for the SAUG, I do actually recommend running a 7 attachment build with the submachine gun just to make it as good as it possibly can be. For class setup number 3, we are going to be rocking the TANTO 22, one of the hardest hitting submachine guns. Now, for the optic, the Kepler Microflex is going to be great on this SMG. There aren't many submachine guns I recommend running optics on. The TANTO is definitely one of them. It's like a pocket assault rifle. For the muzzle, we are going to utilize the compensator. For the barrel, we're going to be rocking the long barrel. For the underbarrel, we have on the vertical foregrip. For the magazine, we have some leeway here. We can either rock extended mag 1 or the flip mag. Both are good options depending on your playstyle. If you're running and gunning, the extended mag 1 is going to be a great choice. But if you're not, the flip mag is also going to be a nice choice. I like to rock the flip mag on this weapon. For the rear grip, we are going to be utilizing the CQB grip again. And for the stock, we are going to be going ahead and putting on the combat stock. This weapon does not have the fastest fire rate. Having that improved flinch resistance and aim walking speed is a massive W on this weapon. And then finally, for the fire mod, because this weapon doesn't have the fastest fire rate, rapid fire is going to be a great choice. This is going to be a fully loaded 8 attachment class setup on the TANTO 22. Overall, a rock solid submachine gun. You guys can see here we have a fast ADS, sprint out speed, as well as overall controllable recoil. This is going to be a great build to use if you are looking for a medium range SMG. Now, let's say you wanted to go ahead and only rock a 5 attachment build. Even though I do recommend running an 8 attachment loadout here, we are going to go ahead and remove the combat stock. We are going to remove the flip mag. And finally, it pains me to say this, but I do recommend going ahead and rocking the iron sights on this weapon if you are only going to run the 5 attachment setup. There are some other attachments that are definitely needed here. If this weapon had a little bit of a faster fire rate, I would say removing rapid fire would be a good choice, but in all reality, this is what we're gonna have to do for the 5 attachment setup. For class setup number 4, we are taking a look at the JACKAL PDW, which is actually one of the fastest killing SMGs both in multiplayer and Warzone. Now, we're not gonna run an optic on this build. If you do not actually have the blueprint, you might wanna run the Kepler Microflex, but if you do, you can skip over this. I will showcase both versions in the firing range. Now, for the muzzle, we are going to run the compensator on the setup to bump up vertical recoil control. This weapon does have a lot of it. For the barrel, I do recommend running the long barrel, improving that damage range. For the underbarrel, we 100% need the vertical foregrip. This weapon has a lot of horizontal recoil we need to correct. For the magazine, we are going to run extended mag 1 on this setup. For the rear grip, we are going to still rock the CQB grip. It just works great with that sprint to fire speed. For the stock, I highly recommend putting on the combat stock on this submachine gun as well to improve flinch resistance and aim walking movement speed. And we're going to be skipping over the lasers. We're definitely not going to give away a position. And then finally, for the fire mods, we are going to run recoil springs to help out with some additional recoil control. Overall, a great 8 attachment class setup. Again, I will be showcasing what this weapon can do with the iron sights. I am going to showcase the default variant because I know for a fact a lot of people did not pre-order Black Ops 6 because they do not have the pre-order bonus. But as you guys can see here, we have a class setup that is going to be controllable. Now, if you did want to go ahead and run the iron sights here, this is what the setup is going to be like. It's not horrible. I like the variants iron sights, but again, I know a lot of people do not actually have the pre-order variant. And if you want to rock just a 5 attachment build here, we are going to remove the combat stock, and we're also going to go ahead and remove the extended mag. This is going to be a great build for you, especially if, like I said, you do not want to rock 8 attachments. But on the JACKAL PDW, I really do like running the Gunfighter wildcard with as many attachments on this weapon as possible. But overall, it's a solid submachine gun. And finally, for class setup number 5, we're going to be rocking the PP919, one of the most underrated SMGs here in multiplayer and Warzone. We don't need an optic. The iron sights are amazing. Now we're gonna rock the suppressor on this submachine gun. I also recommend running a barrel, and the long barrel is gonna be a great choice, making sure we have the fastest time to kill at those medium to longer ranges. For the magazine, believe it or not, we actually are gonna be rocking extended mag 2. The reason we're gonna rock extended mag 2 is because this weapon already has a 60+ round magazine by default. All we really need is 40, and we're taking advantage of a lot of close range benefits: sprint to fire speed, aim down sight speed, and reload quickness. W. Now for the rear grip, I do recommend running the CQB grip. Again, the best grip to run on a submachine gun. For the stock here, I do recommend going ahead and putting on the combat stock. This weapon, again, does not have the fastest fire rate, so running the combat stock with that improved flinch and aim walking movement speed is going to be a great choice. We're not running a laser. Overall, just terrible, because we're going to be giving away our position. And then finally, for the fire mods, we are going to rock rapid fire to bump up that fire rate, making sure this weapon is dominant at those close, medium, as well as longer ranges. This is going to be a 6 attachment class setup here. And once you go ahead and jump into the firing range, this is going to be a nice build, because we have everything on the PP919 that's going to be making this weapon a lot better than it already was. Overall, a fantastic, absolutely fantastic class setup. Now let's say you want to run just a 5 attachment build. You guys probably guessed we're going to go ahead and drop off. It is going to be the combat stock, leaving us, you know, a setup that is honestly still good. I just like making my weapons as overpowered as possible. That's why I rock the 6, 7, 8 attachment class setups. But for this one, you can actually go ahead and get down with only 5 and have the SMG do exactly what it needs to do. For the remainder of the class setups, I do rock the Strider .22 as my secondary, but if I find another assault rifle or maybe even a light machine gun on the ground, I always swap it out for that. I'm running the knife. I have on stem shot, blast trap, which is ridiculously overpowered in Black Ops 6. If you're trying to go ahead and get some streaks and potentially a nuke, check these out. They are free kills. The assault pack, I run scavenger, assassin, bankroll, and enforcer, because I have 3 perks under the same family. And if I am running an 8 attachment class setup, I always run gunfighter, because it's going to allow you to run more than 5 attachments. Now let's say I want to go ahead and rock a non-8 attachment build. I run this on all of my non-8 attachment class setups. Obviously, go ahead and remove the attachments that you don't need. And for the wild card, we are going to be rocking the perk greed wild card. We're still going to rock scavenger, assassin, bankroll with the enforcer ability. But for the extra perk, we are going to go ahead and run Ghost, which is going to be nice, keeping you off the radar when you are moving around if they get a UAV, which, because this game is still relatively new, a lot of people are running UAV and Scout Pulse. This is going to be really, really nice on your setup, man. I rock this on all of my builds, depending on if I have a 5 or an 8 attachment class. If you guys enjoy and these class setups do help you guys out, let me know down in the comment section. And as always, drop a like on the vid, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace.